Namaste and welcome to Flow and Restore Yoga. My name is Michelle Chua, and for today's practice, you want to have 2 blocks, a strap, a blanket, and a bolster, or any items that can substitute for these. Let's start in Hero's Pose if that feels appropriate in your body. You could lessen the bend in the knees by sitting on 1 or 2 blocks stacked right between the ankles. And making sure that the toes are pointed back. If this does not feel appropriate for you to start with, then please adjust yourself accordingly to what you need in your body. And that goes with all of our physical movements and postures, right? So take a moment to mentally transition from whatever you were attending to what's here now, your yoga practice, settling into stillness. This week we have been exploring or revisiting the 5th chakra. As you might remember, the chakras are energy centers, and we have more than 7, though the 7 are the main that sit along the spine. And the 5th chakra is the throat energy center, in Sanskrit called Vishuddha chakra. We've talked about how it is the quality of communication and truthfulness and clarity. And I want to elaborate more on communication, bringing back one of my favorite, highly recommended books, Nonviolent Communication by Marshall B. Rosenberg, PhD. And he talks about how nonviolent communication heightens our awareness that what others say and do may be the stimulus, but never the cause of our feelings. We see that our feelings result from how we choose to receive what others say and do, as well as from our particular needs and expectations in that moment. We are led to accept responsibility for what we do to generate our own feelings. And that's very empowering, but it's also a responsibility. So this section is called Hearing a Negative Message. When somebody says something to you that you perceive is negative, what can you do? Here are 4 options. Number 1, when someone gives us a negative message, whether verbally or non-verbally, we could take it personally by hearing blame and criticism. So for example, if someone is angry and they say, "You're the most self-centered person I've ever met." If we choose to take it personally, we might react by saying, "Oh, I should have been more sensitive." We accept the other person's judgment and blame ourselves. Now, a second option is to fault the speaker. You might respond, "You're the most self-centered person I've ever met. You have no right to say that. I am always considering your needs." Third option is to shine the light of consciousness on our own feelings and needs. And we might reply, "When I hear you say that I am the most self-centered person you've ever met, I feel hurt because I need some recognition of my efforts to be considerate of your preferences." By focusing attention on our own feelings and needs, we become conscious that our current feeling or hurt derives from a need for our efforts to be recognized. Here's the 4th option, is to shine the light of consciousness on the other person's feelings and needs as they are currently expressed. We might, for example, ask in response to them, "Are you feeling hurt because you need more consideration for your preferences?" And so we accept responsibility for our feelings rather than blame other people by acknowledging our own needs, desires, expectations, values, or thoughts. And I want to end with this wisdom quote by the Talmud. "We do not see things as they are. We see things as we are." We do not see things as they are. We see things as we are. We're going to dive deeper into that in a guided 10-minute meditation after our asana or physical yoga practice. But let's just take a moment to digest that in our bodies. Beginning by observing any any sensations you're feeling in your physical body. Letting go of judging anything, just observing. Notice the sensations of the breath as it's moving in and out of your body without changing the way you're breathing. You might sense things like the depth of the breath, the smoothness. And by noticing the quality of your breath, observe how your energy feels overall right now. And then bring your awareness to how you're feeling mentally and emotionally. What is your attention drawn to at this moment? Is there a looping thought? Is your attention drawn to the past or planning something in the future? Or do you feel pretty present and grounded here in this moment, in this body? What emotions are you carrying or are moving through you? You might place a hand gently at your heart center just to acknowledge what they are. Let's start to deepen the breath in through your nose and unpacking any sound that may need to move. Open the mouth. Inhaling a little deeper. And then again, anything you need to vocalize, let it go. Continue a few more cleansing exhalations, and I'll invite you to vocalize throughout this practice, especially as we are focusing on balancing energy at your throat chakra. Now bring your awareness to your heart and recognize what you feel gratitude for. Letting the heart energy support balancing throat energy. Is there any area in your life in which you would like to bring clarity, harmony and communication, truthfulness and compassion? As you start to clarify your intention for this practice. And then think of someone that you would like to dedicate your practice to today. Offering someone else loving kindness. And together, to open our practice and later to close it, I invite you to chant the Bija mantra or seed sound to help activate energy at Vishuddha chakra. Remember that Vishuddha means purify, purification. And you might visualize a clear blue colored light like the ocean or sky right at the center of your throat as you're chanting hum, hum 3 times. So let in a deep breath. Hum. 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 going to invite you to a couple more cleansing exhalations, specifically the practice of Simasana Pranayama or lion's breath. So if you are sitting in hero's pose, you might hold on to your knees just to get a little leverage. And in a moment, I'll invite you to breathe in fully through the nose, open the mouth and eyes wide while sticking out the tongue, exhaling like you're purifying the area of your throat and really vocalizing any sound that may want to move through you to sort of clear that passageway. All right, let's try it twice. So if there's anything that you're feeling tense about or looping in your mind that you want to just set aside, you can offer that as something to cleanse. So deep breath in. One more time. Okay. Now continuing to bring focus to the throat, I invite you to close the mouth, and if you can, just breathe through the nose. Now think of the sound of peaceful ocean waves. Let's start to recreate that by gently constricting the back of the throat while breathing into the very top of the breath, taking your time, and breathing out to the very bottom of the breath, where you try to balance the length of in and out breath. Without straining, let it be a very gentle, calm, whispering sound that you can hear in your breathing. And see if you can sustain that sound, especially through our vinyasa flow first half of our physical yoga. And throughout the yin postures as well, before we let go of controlling the breath. Keep that sound going, and let's make our way down to hands and knees, all fours. Spread your fingers wide and flat. Stack the shoulders on top of the wrist. Step your knees a couple inches behind the hips. And as slowly as you can hear the inhalation, glide your chest forward, coiling it up. Tilt the chin up to stretch your throat. As slow as the exhalation, contract your abdomen, dropping the head to round your back. Again, inhale, broaden your chest forward, peel the shoulder bones behind you and gaze up, cow pose. Exhale, lift the belly towards the spine, tuck the tailbone, drop the head, cat pose. Keep going for several more. Listen to the sound of your breathing. Now, besides focusing physically on the area of the neck and shoulders today, we had a request from our live community to help open up the lower back, releasing tension there, as well as strengthening the legs. So we'll incorporate that into our practice too. At the end of the next exhalation, lift your hips high and draw them back into downward facing dog. Spend the first few breaths here just following however your body needs to move and loosen up. To help loosen up the backs of your legs and lower back, you could slowly pedal your feet in place while twisting side to side, swiveling the hips left and right. And to bring that release of tension in the neck, you might softly move the head in different directions and really try to let go of having to hold your head up. As you press the ground away with your fingers spread, lift the shoulders back and create as much space in the neck as possible. By rolling your triceps or outer upper arms towards the ground, broaden across the tops of the shoulders. And let's flutter the lips a few times. Relaxing the jaw can help to relax the area of the neck. As you breathe in, sweep your right leg behind you. Exhaling, bend the right knee and rotate the thigh to turn out at the hip. Now as you breathe in, keep dropping the head, draw the left hip back. And as you exhale, round into plank where you bend the right knee towards your nose to very quietly step your right foot beside your right thumb. Lower the back knee and feel free to place your hands on blocks if that allows you to relax the shoulders. Keep the back toes tucked and breathe in as you look up, kneeling lunge. Keep your feet where they are, and as you exhale, entering wide pyramid pose, lift the back knee, draw the right outer hip back towards straightening the legs as you fold. Keep your throat open here. Inhale to a high lunge, back knee is lifted as you bend the front knee. Exhale, step to plank pose, top of a push-up. Pause here, lengthen the neck, draw the shoulders back. Exhale, lower your knees first, then your chest, hugging the elbows to the ribs, lower your chin, and gaze forward. Inhale, slither forward, and gently roll your shoulders back, still hugging the elbows close. Cobra pose. Exhale, press up, lifting your hips back into downward facing dog. Slow breath in. Listen to it as it brushes past the back of your throat. On your next inhale, sweep your left leg behind you. As you exhale, bend the left knee and rotate the thigh to turn out at your hip. Keep relaxing the neck. Inhale, tack your right hip back. Exhale, rounding in plank, bend the left knee high towards your nose to very quietly step the left foot beside your left thumb. Lower the right knee. Keep the back toes tucked. And inhale, look up, stretching your neck. Kneeling lunge. Keep your feet where they are. Exhale, wide pyramid pose. Lift the back knee. Draw the left outer hip back towards straightening your legs as you fold from the hips. Inhale to a high lunge. Just bend the front knee. Exhale, step to plank. Pause in plank. Inhale, gaze just ahead of the thumbs. Roll the triceps towards the back wall. Exhale, Ashtangasana, lower knees, then chest, then chin. Inhale to cobra. Draw the shoulder heads back. Exhale to downward facing dog. Let the body be still for 2 slow ocean wave sounding breaths. When you hear the end of the second exhalation, then walk or lightly jump to the front of your mat, forward fold. Press your hands on your shins to blocks or the ground. Inhale, lengthen your chest forward into half forward fold. Exhale, forward fold again. Press through your feet. Inhale, sweep your arms all the way up towards the sky. Roll the shoulders back, gaze up. Exhale, join your hands in prayer down to your heart center. Tap into the feeling tone of the intention you set. Moving with that energy, let's offer gratitude to the sun in a partial sun salutation. Inhale, sweep your arms overhead, lift your heart and gaze. Exhale, bow towards the earth. Press your hands on your shins, blocks or the ground. Inhale, lengthen your spine forward to Ardha Uttanasana. Step into your version of plank and either lower knees, chest, chin, or exhale forward. Graze your elbows by your ribs through Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale to cobra or upward facing dog, drawing the shoulders back. Exhale to downward facing dog. Here's where we're going to change it up. As you inhale, raise the right leg behind you, keeping the hips leveled. Exhale, step the right foot softly beside your right thumb. Stay high on the ball of your left foot. Inhale, rise to crescent lunge. Just passing through. Turn to your left as you exhale, warrior 2. Align right heel to arch of left foot, open the arms. Inhale, spin the right palm up, side bend towards the back of the room, peaceful warrior. As you exhale, windmill your hands to the ground and lower into your version of your vinyasa. Listen to your breath. In downward facing dog. Inhale, raise your left leg, keeping your hips leveled. Exhale, step the left foot beside your left thumb. Stay high on the ball of the right foot. Inhale, rise to crescent lunge. To your right, exhale, open up to warrior 2, aligning heel to arch. Flip the left palm to face up. Inhale, side bend towards your rear wall in peaceful warrior. Exhale all the way down to Chaturanga or knees, chest, chin, moving to your vinyasa. In downward facing dog, tune into 2 deep breaths, slowing it down and smoothing it out. When you've emptied the second, walk or float your feet to the front of your mat, forward fold. Inhale, half forward fold, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, fold. Inhale, sweep your arms towards the sky, lift your heart towards the sun, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, marry your palms in prayer to your heart center. Listen to a deep breath in, and let the exhale last just as long. We're going to take a variation of Sun Salutation B. So step your feet together so they touch. And we're going to pause for several breaths in chair pose in our leg strengthening part of the practice. So bend the knees together. Sit low, raise the arms only to the height where you can relax the shoulders down. Now make sure you're not dumping into your lower back here as we stay a few breaths. Seal in the bottom of your front ribs. Draw your tailbone downward. Glide your shin bones back. Maybe sit a little lower for 3 more breaths. Relax the face. Let your eyes softly steady on one spot. 2 more deep breaths. Inhale. Exhale 2. Inhale. On the exhale, shift your weight forward to fold, Uttanasana. Inhale, lengthen forward, Ardha Uttanasana. Either step to plank or float to Chaturanga or lower knees, chest, chin. Take it to your vinyasa. In downward facing dog, keep your hips leveled. Inhale, raise your right leg back. Exhale as you step the foot very softly beside right thumb. Spin the left heel down and face forward. Inhale to warrior 1. We're going to be here for a bit. So as you're bending your right knee just on top of the heel, draw the right outer hip back. Keep that as you straighten your left leg entirely and press your left outer heel into the earth. Rotate your left outer hip forward. Now slightly lift your frontal hip bones and direct your tailbone to point downward. Let the shoulders relax down as you open the space throughout your neck. How's your breathing? Let's backstroke both arms and interlace your fingers behind your back. If possible, hug the heels of your palms together. If needed, hold a strap between the hands. As you breathe in, roll the shoulders back and down. Then start to fold forward into humble or devotional warrior. Keep squaring your hips to equally face forward and try to relax your neck as much as possible. Just let the skull fall, while stretching your arms forward to open up the fronts of your shoulders. Bend your elbows slightly to lift the shoulders and invite more space in your neck. Last 2 breaths here. Option to keep your hands clasped. Come up to a 45-degree angle and look forward on the ground, warrior 3. Now you can also place your hands on 2 blocks on the ground. You can join your hands in prayer at your heart. There are many variations of your arms. Flexing your left foot, imagine you're pressing the instep of the foot against your back wall. While turning your left outer hip downward, tack the right hip back. Open up the chest, open up the throat. Another deep breath. Virabhadrasana 3. Now as you exhale, softly step back to warrior 1. Straighten the legs, bring your hands to your hips, and shorten your stance 5 to 6 inches. With legs straight, heels down, let's prepare for a twisting triangle. Keep your right hand on the right hip, raise the left arm. Root down through the legs and breathe in as you lengthen your spine about parallel to the floor. Lower the left hand on the left side of your front foot on a block or the floor. Keep your hips still and start to rotate your rib cage to the right. Entering the twist, raise the right arm up. If your balance feels pretty stable and you want to explore depth, a little deeper twist, place the left hand on the right side of your front foot. Keep stretching the spine forward as you breathe in, turning the rib cage as you breathe out. Parita Trikonasana. Can you find space throughout your neck here, all sides of your neck? One more deep breath. Exhale down to plank pose, optional vinyasa or cat-cow. We'll meet in downward facing dog. Deep breath in, maybe a lion's breath. Sound it out if you need. Inhale, raise the left leg, keeping your hips leveled. Exhale, softly step the foot beside your left thumb, spin the right heel down. Inhale, rise to warrior one, Virabhadrasana 1. Here, bend your left knee directly above the heel while drawing the left outer hip back. Keep that as you straighten the right leg and press the right outer heel into the floor while spinning the right outer hip forward. Slightly lift your frontal hip bones so your tailbone is lengthening downward, and then relax your shoulders, lift up through the back of your skull. Tune into another full breath. Inhale, backstroke your arms and switch the interlacing of your thumb and index. Maybe hug the heels of the palms together, or maybe hold a strap if needed. On the next breath in, roll the shoulders back. Exhale, begin to explore humble or devotional warrior by folding forward. Dropping your head, invite clear flow of energy throughout your neck. Shoulders up, arms stretching forward. Can you hear the ocean waves at the back of your throat? You might visualize that blue sea at Vishuddha Chakra. Inhale, lift your spine vertically, diagonally, 45 degrees. You can keep the hands clasped or join your hands in prayer at the heart, or reach for 2 blocks of the floor. Tilt your weight forward into warrior 3. Now, as you keep the hips leveled, flex the right foot, draw the chest forward, keep lengthening through the midline of your body. With each breath, growing in both directions, forward and back. Feel the stability at your center, at your navel, at your hips. Another deep breath. Slowly step the right foot back to warrior 1. Bring your hands to your hips and shorten your stance about 5 to 6 inches. With legs straight, heels grounded, let's prepare for twisting triangle pose. Raise your right arm and inhale, lengthen your spine forward about parallel to the floor. Lower the right hand on the right side of your front foot and keep the pelvis still as you exhale, begin twisting to the left. Raise your left arm. If your balance feels pretty stable and you want to deepen the twist, walk the right hand on the left side of your front foot. Rooting down firmly through both legs without gripping the mat with your toes. In fact, spread your toes. Continue to lengthen your spine forward. Draw the shoulder blades down your back. Keep your pelvis still and spiral the left ribs towards the sky. Feel the energy around your neck and shoulders. One more deep breath. Parita Trikonasana. Last chance to flow through a vinyasa. Take your version of it from here. We'll meet in child's pose. In child's pose, let your feet come together to touch. Knees together or apart. Sink your pelvis back and down towards your heels, stretching your lower back. Let's make it a extended child's pose where you're lengthening your arms forward as if you're reaching for something at the front of your mat. Continue to invite space in your neck though. So draw the shoulders back, lengthen the top of your head forward. We'll add a side stretch here. Begin to walk your hands to the right, maybe reaching outside of your mat as you keep your heart and head close to the earth. Imagine breathing deeper into the left wall of your rib cage, stretching the intercostal muscles between the ribs as you inhale and relaxing those muscles as you exhale. One more breath. Slowly walk your hands to the left side, maybe reaching outside of your mat. You might imagine breathing along the right wall of your rib cage a little deeper. Maybe even into the right side of your lower back. And start to walk your hands forward and slither all the way down to your belly, lying down with your legs straight behind you. You're going to enter a yin posture here to further open up the fronts of the shoulders. And if you would like to rest your head on something rather than the ground, grab a block and place it just to the right side of your skull. Slide your right arm out to the right, palm face down on the ground, and place the left hand on the floor beside your left shoulder to press the ground away with. As you lean the right ear onto the floor or onto the block, begin to roll slowly towards your right outer hip. Pause a moment and slide the right shoulder bone away from the right ear, so moving down the back. And then notice how far back you need to lean to get a balanced opening in the front of your right shoulder. You might step the left foot behind you. You might not. You might explore how it feels to wrap the left arm behind you. You might also bend the right knee and set the right foot down or not. Let's tune into several more deep breaths here. One more very long exhalation. Slowly turn over onto your belly. If you rested your head on a block, transfer it to the left side of your skull. Slide your left arm out to the left, palm face down. Place the right hand on the ground beside your right shoulder. Press the ground away with it. Begin to turn over towards your left outer hip as you lean the left ear on the block or on the floor. Pause a moment and slide the left shoulder blade further down your back ribs. And then really pay attention to the sensations happening, especially in the front of your left shoulder. So you can observe how far you need to go on the second side, which may be different from the first. One more very long out breath. And start to unravel onto your belly. Slowly making your way into Sphinx pose, where you can place the forearms in front of you parallel to each other so that you can lift your chest. Stack the shoulders directly above your elbows and stretch the legs actively behind you, bringing your knees as close together as you comfortably can. Press the tops of your feet into the ground where you could feel every toenail touching your mat. As you keep the arms still, bring the feeling as if you're dragging your elbows back towards your outer hips, and actually feel your shoulder bones roll further behind you. And you might give your neck some movements, any direction you need to stretch the neck here. Can you still hear the breath massage the back of your throat? Let's cross the left forearm on the ground in front of your chest. Bend your right knee and backstroke your right arm. Catch hold of the big toe or inner side of your right ankle or foot. Ground your right frontal hip bone and bring the right heel slightly towards the outside of your right hip as you turn your chest completely to face forward. Notice what you're feeling here in your body. Try to keep your knees from splaying wider apart than your hips distance in order to support your lower back. And with your next exhalation, come back to Sphinx pose, both forearms on the floor. Slide your knees close together, draw the shoulder bones back. And maybe give it a sigh or anything you might need to vocalize that's moving through you. Perhaps a lion's breath or flutter the lips. When you're ready, cross the right forearm in front of your chest. Bend your left knee and backstroke your left arm. Catch hold of the big toe, not the pinky toe side. Bring the left heel slightly towards the outer left hip, turning your chest completely to face forward. Grounding both frontal hip bones as you keep your knees no wider apart than your hips distance. One more deep breath. Once more, come back to Sphinx pose. Maybe flutter the lips or vocalize as you exhale. Slide your hands back beside your floating ribs and press up to tabletop, where we'll enter thread the needle, a spinal twist. You could set up with two knees on the floor or stretch your inner thigh by setting up with the right foot stepped out to the right, flat on the floor. If you find the latter position too cumbersome, you could always return the right knee to the ground. So press the left hand into the earth. Inhale, raise your right arm and open your chest. As you exhale, thread the right arm underneath your left bent elbow. Lower the right side of your head all the way down. If your head does not comfortably rest on the ground, use any of your props to support your head. Relax the shoulders away from the neck. What would it feel like to breathe specifically across the tops of your shoulders and into your upper back? One more cleansing exhalation here. Gently come back to tabletop pose. Take your time setting up for side two if you can, similarly to how you set up on the first side. Press the right palm into the ground. Inhale, raise your left arm and open your chest. Exhale, thread the left arm under your right bent elbow and lower the left side of your head all the way down. Use a prop if that's more comfortable. Invite space throughout all the sides of your neck, especially your throat here. One more deep breath. And gently start to rise all the way up to sit with your legs out in front of you. Let's bend the knees apart into Baddha Konasana for a few breaths. Bring the soles of your feet together. If it helps to sit up taller or to relax the knees down, elevate your pelvis on a folded blanket or pillow. As you breathe in, root down to your sitting bones. Invite as much space up and down the spine, all the way to the crown as you can. Keep relaxing the shoulders down. Keep your throat open, your chest broad. And when you're ready, exhale, begin to fold from the hips. Each inhale, pause where you are, root the pelvis down, and stretch the spine from it. One more deep cleansing breath. And press down to your sitting bones. Begin to lift the chest. Inhale to slowly rise. Straighten both legs in front for Paschimottanasana. Separate your feet hips width apart and flex your feet. If you'd like to use a strap as an extension of your arms to help you relax your shoulders, you can place the strap around the balls of your feet like this. Flex your feet and press your big toe mounts forward. Then root your two sitting bones down and breathe in as you lift the spine from the pelvis. Keep the shoulders relaxed, your throat open, and as you exhale, hinge little by little from the hips, breath by breath. Now, if it's reachable without rounding your back or tensing the shoulders, you could clasp your big toes with your index and middle fingers. Press down to the pelvis, breathe in, and lead from the chest to slowly rise. So take your choice of either supported shoulder stand with a block under your sacrum as you lie on your back, or classical shoulder stand if you are free of neck issues. I'll demonstrate both. Supported shoulder stand, begin with your knees bent, step your feet on the ground as you lie on your back. Then lift your hips and slide a block wide across your sacrum. So the block is across the width of your mat, right under the flat part of your lower back. Once it's stably and comfortably supporting your weight, then lift your legs up. So either here or for classical shoulder stand, bring the elbows really close to your side ribs. Plug them firmly into the ground. Plug your shoulders into the ground and tilt your chin back. Place your hands on your glutes to help you lift your pelvis directly above your shoulders, walking your hands down towards your middle back, creating a straight line up to your inner toes, your big toes, as you bring the feet together, down to the pelvis, down to the shoulders, where after a few breaths, you could hinge from the hips and raise the legs overhead into plow halasana, and maybe opt to clasp the hands with the arms straight on the ground. So whatever your inversion, stay for maybe 5 or so more deep breaths. When you're ready to come out of plow or classical shoulder stand, Salamba Sarvangasana, make sure that your elbows are rooted to the floor as your hands hold your lower back. Take your time to very gently and slowly lower your upper back, middle back, and eventually your pelvis. If you're using a block, go ahead and remove it from under your body. And let's meet in preparation for fish pose. Sliding the legs straight and bringing the feet together as you point the toes forward. Fish pose is a great posture to invite open energy flow in your throat chakra. Slip your palms face down underneath your glutes where your thumbs meet to touch. Press your palms, forearms, and elbows into the ground and tilt your chin as far back as you can comfortably stretch your throat. You might be able to bring the crown of your head to the floor. Now I invite you to sound out any clearing exhalation, sort of like you're purifying the region of the throat, like lion's breath. Or the seed sound. Hum. Try about 5 cleansing breaths here. Ha. When you're finished, release your body down, draw your bent knees into your chest, maybe rock a little or come into happy baby. Any last clearing exhalations through the mouth, then gently place your body in a position for Shavasana, where you can splay out your feet, turn the palms up perhaps, down by your sides, rest the shoulders down the back, and invite open space through all the sides of your neck as you close your eyes and direct your attention deeper inward, releasing control of the breath. Surrender into stillness. Shavasana. As you rest a little longer, with your eyes still closed, begin to scan your body again, noticing how it feels now. Is there any difference from when you first arrived in this practice today? Listen to how your body wants to begin moving. Ease into simple movements, gentle stretches. Gradually turning over onto your right side and resting your head. And once there, pause to witness the flow of the breath just as it is. Does your energy feel any different? Notice the effects of your practice. Then very gently lift your body, find a comfortable way to sit where you can feel grounded, alert, open, and relaxed. You might place your hands in a mudra to support these feelings, such as stacking the right palm face up on top of the left palm with your thumb tips touching. Bring mindful attention to the space around your throat as you relax the shoulders and lengthen up through the spine. Here's that quote again by the Talmud. We do not see things as they are. We see things as we are. From Mindful Loving, projection makes perception. Quite simply, this means that the thoughts and beliefs inside of us are projected outward, coloring our perception of the outside world, its events, and our relationships in it. How we perceive things does more to determine our personal reality and our experience of it than anything else. And that's what this meditation is based on. Sense the ground beneath your body, the surface supporting you from below. Without controlling the breath, sense its in and out flow. Allow a moment to tap into your innate goodness, contacting a place of love and sincerity within you. So that this meditation is for the purpose of awakening clarity in perception, peace in communication, and compassion for all beings, including yourself. Sense that goodwill that resides in you. Feel the nourishment naturally flowing to you through each inhalation. Feel the ways you are supported in your well-being. I invite you now to recall a recent experience when you received what you may have perceived as a negative message from someone, whether verbally or non-verbally. So this is taking us back to the beginning of our practice, where I read from nonviolent communication. Choose a situation that you feel comfortable enough to explore without feeling overwhelmed thinking about it, for the purpose of gaining clarity and practicing compassion surrounding it. Can you remember when you received a message that you perceived as negative? Allow a moment to imagine the experience again, hearing and seeing the details of what happened. Notice the details of the being who communicated this so-called negative message to you. Now pause and sense in your body any emotions arising. You might even gently touch a hand or both to where you might feel the sensations of those emotions. I invite you into a practice called Tonglen. As you naturally breathe in, let yourself feel the predominant emotion and its sensation in your body. As you breathe out, see if you can soften any tension around the emotion. Breathing in, feel it as it is. Breathing out, loosen the grip around it. Let this be very much a bodily exercise, letting go of analyzing what's happening. Breathing in, feeling the emotion or discomfort. Breathing out, loosening any tension around it. Now integrating a few steps from rain meditation, here's a part of self-inquiry. I invite you to ask yourself this question: what is this predominant emotion telling me that I need? What is this emotion telling me that I need? For instance, if fear is arising or insecurity is arising, maybe there is a need for confidence or reassurance that you're okay, that you're safe. The next question: what is this emotion or feeling showing me that I am believing? What is it showing me that I am believing? For example, out of the feeling of insecurity or fear, of judgment, I might be believing that I'm not worthy or I'm not good enough, or that I'm a bad person. And now let's practice some compassion, asking yourself this question: how can I nurture myself with kindness? How can I nurture myself with kindness? It could be a simple touch, gently to the heart center, which can be physically soothing. It could be a word or words of kindness you can tell yourself mentally or out loud. Or you could imagine a being that sincerely cares for you, showing you loving kindness right now. And the last question is there a greater truth that I can remember? Is there a greater truth that I can remember? For example, I might say to myself, I'm allowed to make mistakes and still be a good person. Or this person who sent me a negative message is allowed to make mistakes and still be a good person. Is there a greater truth you can remember? Notice how you're feeling now, mentally and emotionally. If your eyes are closed, I invite you to keep them closed a little longer as you allow a deep breath into your belly and into your heart space and into your throat. You might visualize a color blue illuminating throughout your heart, throat, belly. Exhale gently through the mouth. Couple more deep breaths like that. You might join your hands in prayer at heart center, allowing a moment to offer gratitude to yourself for the courage of this practice, to the teachers and their teachers who have shared these practices of yoga and the chakra system. And then revisit your intention. Remember to whom you dedicated your practice. And I'll invite you again to chant the Bija mantra of Vishuddha Chakra, hum, as you might visualize the color blue, not only at your throat, but it illuminating your whole being and the space around you with the feelings of clarity, truthfulness, compassion, and harmony. Let's try it together 3 times. Hum, let in a deep breath. Hum. 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 And bowing in, honoring the light within. The light in me honors the light in you. Namaste.